The Mayo Experience.
Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by DraftKings, part 2 of the best NFL quarterback rankings. Yes, we've done a list from 1 to 10 of our personal preferences. We've already gone through 10 through 5, and some of the quarterbacks we've already talked about that appear in, let's say, my top 5, where like I have Josh Allen at number 5. We talked about him in part 1 because Tim was like, he's terrible. He's ranked 32nd of 32nd, which is just crazy. So he came up in that conversation. You can check that out right now on Mayo Media Network for the video version. Please subscribe to Mayo Media Network on YouTube. Also, you can find that up on the Pat Mayo Experience audio podcast. Go download, rate, review, and subscribe to the Pat Mayo Experience audio podcast as well. You can find the links to everything in the description of this video, along with the time codes of the players that we're talking about in here. You probably do know the names of the players that we are talking about because it's the top 5. Geoff Fienberg made his top 10 list featuring 7,000 players, apparently, from last time. So in your top 5, are there only top 5 players?
There are only 5 players left. I did accidentally rank 11 and forget Dak, but that's for entertainment if you watch the first half.
Are you now attributing that to you providing entertainment on purpose, or you unknowingly forgot to put
Unknowingly forgot to put Dak, and unknowingly saw as I filled out my list that I had 2 guys tied. But hey, relive it. Go watch that first episode. We had fun.
We did have fun. So as he is still on the line for part 2 of this show, he's the man, the myth, the legend who thinks that Josh Allen is terrible. It is Tim Andercust.
Tim Andercust.
That's not my name. I don't think he's terrible. And if you smash the likes button, that means you agree with me.
Oh no! If you don't smash the like button, you're going to be cursed by Tim. So we have to even it out from that point of view. So I think I'm actually I don't know who Tim has. I mean, I know who Tim has at number 2 in his rankings because that was revealed in part 1 of this. I know who everyone's number 1 is. I'm just really curious to see how the rest of this top 5 goes. If people forget, my top 10 was Matthew Stafford at number 10, Tom Brady at number 9, Justin Herbert at number 8, Kyler Murray at number 7, Dak Prescott at number 6. The parameters of this quarterback ranking was starting your franchise today, you have a 4-year window. The next 4 years, who do you want as your quarterback? So those are my 10 through 5. You can go back to part 1 to find Jeff's and find Tim's if you want to check those out. But I had Josh Allen at number 5. We've talked through Josh Allen already. Jeff, who do you have at number 5?
I have Russell Wilson.
Okay, I have Russell Wilson higher than this. Tim, what about you?
As do I. I have Russell Wilson at number 4.
I have Russell Wilson at number 2 on my list.
Okay.
I've always comped Russell Wilson to Aaron Rodgers. I think that they're the most 2 similar type quarterbacks to each other, just the way that, I mean, Aaron Rodgers' arm is a little bit better, but other than that, the decision making, and it's not like Russell Wilson can't make throws, but they've both been bogged down by a system that really works against them in so many ways. And the way, and not necessarily Aaron Rodgers at this point of his career, although he still does have some mobility, that we're seeing less and less of it from Russell Wilson as well. But, because of things and reasons, Russell Wilson was always put into this box of, oh, well, he runs. It's like, no, Russell Wilson doesn't run. Russell Wilson runs for first downs when it's there to go get it. He moves the chain. He is that type of quarterback. And Aaron Rodgers was always like that too, like 10 years ago. And he still does it from time to time now. If there's 2 yards to go and he can get 3, he's going to take his 3. But his primary focus is always look downfield, make those big completions. And no one is better really at extending plays than both those guys and keeping their eyes downfield. I still think that Russell Wilson has a lot left in the tank. He'd be my number 2 quarterback.
Well, he's got all that recovery water.
He does. Listen, maybe he can make it work. Does he still sell that stuff, the concussion water?
I haven't seen him hawk it in a while, but he was at one point.
But I just, there's very little bad you can say about Russell Wilson.
Agreed.
And what's his age now? 32?
2.
Next 4 years,
and he's got he's got 3 years at $70 million left on the deal.
He's got the third most. He's got the third most expensive quarterback contract by average year right now with $35 million a year.
Yeah, but that's going to change over the course of the next 4 years. Where
Yes, it is.
All of a sudden, we're going to look in $35 million is like 16th among quarterbacks.
Yeah, he's due up in 2024.
So yeah, there's nothing bad to say. I think he is kind of. It's an interesting sort of PR battle that has developed in Seattle at the moment. I think I did read that entire Athletic story, and it was really disappointing to hear that, like, anytime he sort of comes into like game planning meetings with suggestions and his own ideas, they are totally dismissed.
Well, they're not running the ball. If the plan was let's run wishbone, then they'd be like, I'm all
that
ears.
simply disgusts me. Like, I look forward to the point where like Justin Herbert's like at home wanting to like thinking in his head how to contribute the plays I like and wanting to go into the meeting preparing and wanting to play a role in implementing them. I'm not comparing Herbert to Wilson. Wilson's a freaking franchise superstar Super Bowl winning quarterback. He should have that. He should be able to have more control. I think he's unfair. I think it's unfair though.
I think that we run into a problem sometimes that everyone wants to be Peyton Manning. And not everyone is Peyton Manning. I do think that there needs to be a line between the guy that calls the play, the guys that comes up with the plays, and then maybe you consult with the quarterback on what works best for him and ideas. But then you get into a very tricky circumstance where if the players start believing you, then it takes away the power from the coaches, and obviously they don't want that.
You're the coach. You're in the huddle. You got to lead those 10 guys, man.
I agree with you, but I think that there's a difference between being completely boxed out and being like, no, here's what I want to do. It doesn't work like that.
So I'd like to continue now because I just mean like I have so much to say on this, and that clearly we are seeing on many levels like feelers being thrown out there by a lot of superstars in this league now, quarterbacks, to gauge like just how far we can pull player empowerment, and all the power to them in doing that. I don't like, and Russell Wilson, it's well documented, like, well, he sat there at the Super Bowl beside the commissioner. He stood down there. He watched. Like, Tom Brady is a lightning rod for a lot of these elite guys now. Like, he got full control to sort of pick a spot. Yes, he was a free agent, but not only that, pick who he wanted to play with, full control of what goes on in his huddle. And now that seems like that's something that guys are angling for. Russell deserves to be far more respected in Seattle. And if I own the Seahawks, I tell you this right now, I would fire Pete Carroll.
That was the point that I wanted to make.
If it's one or the other, you fucking fire Pete Carroll and it's over. And you make Russell happy. Here's my concern. I don't think it's about that, because Russell and his camp did something, in my opinion, that was disgusting last week.
Was it chill water that prevents concussions?
No, that's pretty bad too.
Hang out with Macklemore?
No, that's fine. I don't give a crap.
Macklemore dresses like you on the golf course. Tim,
I like Macklemore. I actually like him quite a bit. I think he's a good musician. I've long said this. I think he's a very, very good musician.
Wear your seatbelt, friend.
Tim also on the show once said that he was the #1 rapper in the world, Macklemore, because he won a Grammy.
I tell you, at the time, he was like a top 5.
Now, I need to continue. What Russell Wilson did last week, in my opinion, was disgusting. It wasn't reported or rumors or sources. His agent explicitly told Adam Schefter the 4 teams he would be traded to. So now he goes and creates unfair.
So hold on. Are you for player empowerment or against it? Because that's a huge leverage point.
I don't think it's fair to do that to those other organizations publicly.
Why?
Now they look like failures if they can't acquire Russell Wilson.
You put all the pressure on everyone else.
Now, but that's not what Russell Wilson. Now, I don't think firing Pete Carroll would be good enough for him. He's not even about playing quarterback. He wants to be a brand. He's not even looking about having control in Seattle. He is thinking about growing his brand, like a long-term brand project. And I'm a little bothered by that, because I do believe Seattle would totally fire Pete Carroll to hand him the reins of the team that he wanted. But that won't be good enough. He's angling to get out to build his brand, which I don't even have that big of a problem with. I do not like. It can be sources, or Schefter can be like, this is what I'm hearing. But the fact that it's explicit from the agent that he's got 4 girls that he can't wait to date is so weird to me. And it's unfair to Dak. and it's unfair to a lot of people in this league.
If you're Russell Wilson, it's unfair to everyone besides you. It's great for you. That's why you do it.
You're right, and I do agree. Like in many ways,
at least we know he's smart. That's a leg up for him.
Sure. I guess I just don't like everything he did was fine, but like those 4 teams being public,
That's such a weird thing to be mad about.
No, I don't think it was
Watson
a right.
has his list of teams that he'll be traded to.
DeShaun Watson needs to be more. Those are different situations. They're very different situations because Seattle, he hasn't demanded a trade, Russell Wilson.
Okay.
If he demanded...
Has DeShaun Watson technically demanded a trade?
Yes!
Has he?
Yes!
Has he? Or is that just the speculation?
When Adam Schefter reports he has officially demanded a trade, to me that means, yeah, he's demanded a trade.
Well, I haven't heard him say it.
Well, that's part of the problem. He's got to get in front of a camera. You cannot get what you... Okay.
No, that's not true. Actually, in fact, the less he says is actually beneficial to him.
He can't get what he wants without getting
I'm
blood
never
on his
hiring you
hands.
to negotiate things for me.
No, he can't get what he wants without making it dirty. He cannot get what he wants. He's got to make them way more uncomfortable than he has.
He has one move to make. That is, I will sit out. That's his move.
Okay, but I'm saying his leverage... Deshaun Watson's leverage that people think is so much, I don't think really exists. His leverage is literally his integrity and how good of a guy he is. And
I would say it's how good he is on the football field.
Okay.
That would be my stance.
But his leverage in the league and around league circles is his integrity and how good of a guy he is and how that he wouldn't do this unless he really, really wanted to. But he's got to make it ugly there. He's got to make it ugly there.
I don't know. If I'm the Texans, I'm not negotiating through the press. Same with Seattle. I'm not. If you want to negotiate through the press, talk to them. I just won't trade you. If you want to talk behind the scenes, quietly, the way business is conducted, that's great. Maybe we can work out a trade or something. What I'm not going to do, and what you're not going to be allowed to do, is submarine me and say, here are the 4 teams I'm going to if I'm going anywhere. Sorry, no, I don't play that game. You'll go nowhere then. If you want to try to,
I'm telling you, the Texans don't have the guts. They just don't.
To
Texans
what?
are crazy people.
Yeah, and
yes,
they're also stupid. They're a stupid organization.
But that's a problem. They could blow it up because the biggest thing the Texans have to lose is their league reputation with other players. Because
the biggest thing they have to lose is DeShaun Watson.
No, but by screwing this up, other players will get the message they'll never do like. That their reputation in the league is now.
That shit's overrated. This isn't baseball. You build your team through the draft, and all of a sudden you're good again. People want to play there.
I agree with that, but they're saying they're just doing damage to their reputation. I guess I don't think they're trading him, Pat. And I'm telling you, once draft day passes and he's not traded, this thing's not ending anytime soon. The only thing I will say is once draft day passes, the 49ers become very like those teams that aren't the Jets and Dolphins become very, very live because once the Jets and Dolphins execute those picks for themselves, it sort of flips the script on who the favorites are in the ability to acquire DeShaun Watson.
If I was San Francisco, I'm not waiting though either. I'm not because I don't think that the Texans are a reliable dance partner. So why am I going to wait till August to execute a trade? I'm just going to proceed and
after the draft, there is no trade in August.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. The 49ers' path to getting Watson ends up becoming much higher if he's not traded at the draft. Yeah, because as Geoff just said, basically the Jets and Dolphins are now off the board for them to go to. That brings the Broncos into play.
All those teams.
It brings all those second-tier teams. I mean, the Panthers are the real wild card. Yeah. I wouldn't put it past the Raiders to do something
not at all.
As well and really go out and try. I mean, not crazy. It'd be smart to go get DeShaun Watson, as we'll see by my rankings here in a second.
But those teams that don't have
by the draft. When the draft's over, the Niners will have already used free agency to go after a quarterback. The Raiders will already done what
No. But that's why both the Broncos and Niners would be in such a great position because I don't think that the Broncos are going to use free agency to go after a quarterback. It's going to be we're going to trade for DeShaun Watson or we're rolling with Drew Lock. And the Niners are going to be we're rolling with Jimmy G or we're trading for DeShaun Watson. Those are our 2 moves.
The second the draft passes and he's not traded, it totally resets on who's got the inside track to acquire him.
And the Niners do, because obviously Nick Bosa's a guarantee. You give him away in a heartbeat, and then you name the amount of draft picks.
What? They're not doing that. Are you kidding me? And
100%
that's not what the Texans would actually want
Texans
back.
want blue chip defensive players. We know that for a fact.
Yeah, they want defensive starters. They probably don't want to go for a guy that you're going to have to pay $40 million a year to in like a year.
They should, because they, as Geoff just said, they may have trouble with free agents. Who knows? They've been throwing all their good players out the door. Actually, that's exactly what you do. If you're the Texans, you say, I want 3 first-rounders and Bosa.
No,
and the Niners
you're
say,
not getting Bosa in that trade.
I send you that.
You're not getting Bosa.
The Niners would say, is that all?
Especially because the market is going to be so much more limited at that point that no, you're not getting Bosa and 3 first-rounders. You're not getting Bosa in that trade. That's just not how it's going to work.
It's probably
you might get 2 first or second year guys coming back your way, but you're not getting Nick Bosa. That's crazy.
I still can't believe Russell Wilson hasn't demanded a trade, but there are the teams he would be traded to list made public by his agent.
I love the idea.
Yeah, it's passive aggression.
That's exactly how I would play it if I was Russell Wilson and their team.
You don't negotiate through the press. That's bad form.
I cannot.
It's such bad form. That's not how they do it.
He's got no interest in.
Isn't it? Oh, really?
No.
Who
want to undercut your negotiating partners in the public? Fine, then you will pay consequences for your bad negotiating.
You know that is a terrific negotiation tactic because none of the players in the NFL have such little leverage to begin with that you need to be able to create. You need to be able to create leverage out of nothing, and that's what you can do when you're a superstar quarterback. This move can only apply to certain people, and Russell Wilson and DeShaun Watson are some of the ones that can actually do that.
I don't think they actually have any leverage.
Well, that's great news for them if you don't think that
I don't think they have any leverage.
By all accounts, DeShaun Watson will lose the $20 million. He's not doing this for a 1 year. He wants to fix his next decade. And if it costs him a 1 year salary,
he doesn't care.
He's gonna.
If he cared that much about the money, he'd shut up and go play football.
No, but I'm just saying, like he's willing to lose a year of 20 to save to be in where he wants to be for the next decade.
Yes,
I don't blame him.
He's made his money. He's set up. His kids are set up. Their kids are set up. It's no longer about money. He now wants to win, and maybe he wants to play for a franchise.
Did you see the angle that Bart Scott's been floating on ESPN?
Is it? No.
Don't get fined because they're non-recoverable. Show up, throw the ball on the ground, be disinterested, like be a total. He's got too much integrity.
Work to rule. I love it. Work to rule. I love that idea.
Literally, like practice, throw it to the defense, not do the right plays, like literally just force them to bench him, trade him. Like, but he's got too much class.
He probably does. That would be something I would do.
Or you would just go and be like, my neck hurts. I can't practice today. But I'm not getting
my shoulder.
My shoulder's sore. We're not practice. Sorry, guys.
I need to get a massage for 2 hours. I'll see you later.
But I'm not. You can't find me. I showed up. I signed in. You can see my key card. Scan the front door.
I don't think it's about that with him, though.
So essentially, you think he should be Costanza when he's climbing?
No, I do think he needs to get himself like in front on and just because the NFL people, the community, the fans, they love DeShaun Watson. His leverage is in how much he is, how good he is, and how much he is respected.
How good he is the leverage.
Yes.
That's the leverage. And the fact that his contract is very appealing.
I think he'd have far more success getting his trade if his agent spent his time talking to the front brass of the Texans and less time talking to NFL.
Well, by all accounts, they don't answer. They're not even returning the calls on the subject.
Yeah, they have some like pastor who doesn't own a cell phone. He runs
because they're crazy. Yeah, that's the other thing that people aren't talking about here enough is that they're trying to think about rational, reasonable. How do you deal with this? You know, some people, as the Joker said, like to watch the world burn. Those are the guys like that Alfred talks about with the rubies the size of tangerines that they're throwing off of the cart. Some people just are going to do what they're going to do, and they're not going to be reasoned with.
So they're
Texans may very well not be reasonable, and therefore it would be wrong to put a template of rationality onto them, saying, well, "Here's what they're going to do," because that's how teams. It may be that they couldn't care less, and they're just going to do what they're going to do, and it's unpredictable.
It is still so weird to me because he signed instead of kicking the can down the road like a Dak and like just doing something short, he signed the long-term deal in September. After they traded Hopkins, Bill O'Brien is still an idiot. Cal McNair is known as a clown among league circles, and his agent said, "Nope, you should still sign this deal." That is literally, I said it before, it's like my wife dating me for as long as we dated, and then 6 months after being married, telling me she's divorcing me because I'm fat. That's not fair. I was fat forever. The Texans were dumb forever, and you signed with the dumb.
I feel like you're not thinking about this, that we live in a space now where you can get out of these things. It's not that big.
No,
of a deal.
you get out of anything.
We're gonna find
you
out,
get
aren't we?
divorced.
Just because
Contracts are made to be broken.
just because you wouldn't do it.
I didn't say I wouldn't do it.
And
I'm not in that position.
But even in your
We're going to
comparison,
find
you're-
out whether
you're-
he can get out of it.
I
We're gonna
think
find
I
out.
think that is going to work. I think he's going to get.
is he
out of it.
traded by the
I think
draft?
it's gonna. I think
No.
it's gonna cost.
So
him a
what?
lot
Next
more.
off season? Like we're gonna go
I
a
think
whole
he'll-
year.
I think that he will be traded by at least week 4 of this season. That's when I think the
See,
Texans
that's
start
why
slipping
they're
into
so
it.
fucking stupid.
I agree.
Because you're never going to get second or third. The 49ers aren't going to have second or third overall. Like maybe the Broncos might not bottom out. They might just still have 11th overall next year, or 9th, whatever they have.
But on the other side,
They're
they
never
say,
going to
"But
get there. They're never
I don't want to give up
gonna-
DeShaun Watson. I don't want to trade him. He's too good.
Then
I
he
can never get
then
anything
he
of value
needs
back.
to be able to back this up and sit out because that is a part of this leverage that he's willing
If I were
to
the
do.
Texans, I would call his bluff if he didn't want to. I mean, look,
I
I
mean,
would
you're
actually
an
try to
I mean,
trade
maybe
him.
you're the best
No,
to talk
I would
about this
actually
because
try to
you're an
trade-
insane person, and the
I
way that
would
we've
try to
described
We
the
are
Texans-
headed to a stand. We are.
I would try to trade him, but it's got to be under my conditions. I'm going to trade him to a team that I can get the best possible return.
Okay.
Yeah, but
for
you
my
gave
franchise.
you gave up that leverage when you gave him a fucking no trade clause.
In defense
You're right.
of.
The previous administration did that.
Well,
I know I'm
you're
down
playing,
by
but
it.
you're playing
I'm
under
down
those
by it.
contracts.
Hold on, though. In
I'm down
defense
by
of
it,
Watson, it did appear that last week his agent said, like, Miami, the Jets, and Carolina, he would go to.
Yes.
Like, he's essentially put it out there.
Which
Those
is
are the
fine.
teams
That's all
with
I'd
the
ask.
highest amount of draft capital. If you can make a deal with them, we would go there. Everyone is, like, making these Carolina rumors with, like, McCaffrey and multiple picks because their owner is, like,
If they're
the extreme risk.
well,
like,
yeah, but that's not even extreme risk. That's such a savvy play. Like, yeah, have Christian McCaffrey. Yeah,
have our
And
expensive running back. Like, yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree.
No, but I'm saying all the trade packages include like the 3 first rounders and a superstar. Like even the
that's what it's gonna
Dolphin,
cost.
even the Dolphin package is like the picks.
Yeah, but you're
and
not-
Xavier Howard.
It wouldn't be.
That's
Xavier
what's
Howard.
good. That's the Jets.
No, I'm
ones
saying
designed
that's-
with 3 first
But
rounders.
the
and Quentin Williams.
maybe the Texans aren't thinking about this properly. But you don't want to get back a guy you have to pay over $100 million to next year because your
agreed.
team's not going to be any fucking good.
Agreed.
You're better off getting more picks or young guys.
If you're getting a superstar and you're also getting the 3rd pick where you could draft a QB who might be so good immediately that you can compete, I actually think there is some logic to that.
I do think he's not getting traded, but I do agree. If I ran the Texans, you're so fucked in this corner. Now you have to just find the best way out. Like you said, the light, because there's a light at the end of this tunnel, but for the Texans, it could be a train hitting them, not like a ray of light to get out of this. And if they don't, they have a chance. A new GM, it sucks, but no one will ever have this high-end draft capital to give you.
Like Carolina's very interesting because I mean the McCaffrey thing's whatever. Like McCaffrey's a fantastic player; he'll be good wherever he goes. But he's not like a guy who changes your franchise and makes you good.
No,
he's a nice complementary piece to have if you have the rest of the tools. You get the picks, the 3 first-round picks from Carolina, and they have what, the 8th pick?
7.
They have the 7th pick. So you get the 7th pick, and they're 2 picks, maybe a second-round
Next
pick,
year
and
and
whatever.
more, yeah.
You get Teddy Bridgewater back to at least give you some stability at the position right now. If the guy that you want to take at 7 is no longer there, then you can kick the can down the road because you're probably going to be like, okay, with Teddy Bridgewater. And then you get what's his face from their defense. The guy who was Chin, who was in the Rookie of the Year.
Jeremy
conversation.
Chin, yeah,
like he's a
great
second-year player. That's a better idea than going to
Xavier Howard, yeah, I know.
Guys that are
makes
making
total
tons of
sense.
money.
That makes total sense.
Now, the picks are better from the Jets and Miami, at least this year's picks, unless the Jets go both their picks and next year and something else. But do the Jets have a defensive young player they can really give up that would be like, oh, great? Do they, Tim?
well, Quentin Williams is pretty cheap, and he's a star.
The Jets rumors do seem to include Quentin
Wait.
Williams, but he's not of that level that some of the other
No,
players.
but he
in
is
the
a.
deals.
He's not like one of the best players in defensive football, but he is very, very, very highly talented.
What year is
We'll
he
see.
in? Year 3 for him?
I think so. I believe that's correct. Hold on. I mean, I'm with Jeff. I don't think either are getting traded. I think I've been on that position.
Russell
for a
Wilson
while.
will not this year. I was trying. Russell Wilson will not be a Seahawk in 2 years because I don't even think he will fire Pete Carroll for you. I think this is all.
This is a weird projection you have onto Russell Wilson.
No, this is
For,
all.
like reading a statement. From
This
an
is
agent.
all. He is literally like trying to pick a fight with his girlfriend to get the breakup he wants, so she breaks up with him.
That's a smart move.
Yeah.
That's how I always break up with people.
Yeah, like no, you really just annoy them and kind of like
Were
No,
I
you-
Seattle,
you'd
I'd
be-
say
you'd be
you're too
distant.
good.
Yeah,
Distant
you'd be
is the
distant, and then you make them call it quits. I really do believe that's how it's going to end, and they will try to save it by saying we will end Pete Carroll's reign here to keep you, and it's not going to be enough for him.
I mean, we're
You don't know whether or not it'll be enough for him or not.
You don't put
the
those
most important
marks.
thing to have as a quarterback.
Not everyone thinks about things on the level that you do of like crazy.
You cannot.
Some people are just being very
Publicly
rational.
make
Yes,
that-
you can. You can do whatever you want. That's the nice thing about this.
Not if you want to be a Seahawk.
The Seahawks will gladly forgive him,
Of course they will.
and he'll forgive them.
He does
with all
not
of the
want to
money,
be
and
there.
he'll get the power.
He doesn't want to be there, even if they run it his way. That's the impression I'm totally getting. And he's angling to get out. And we're going to see in a year and a half, he gone. He will be out of there.
Well, I mean, if Patrick Mahomes is off the board, he can come on Pat Mayo's team as my number 2 ranked quarterback in this.
He's amazing.
By the way, since we've talked about DeShaun Watson at this point, although we did not talk a single iota about his skill level, I have DeShaun Watson at number 3.
I'm a number
Same
2.
spot I have. I have number 3 for Deshaun Watson.
2.
You have him at number 2.
Yeah, I think the world of him. If Tim gets him, our shows will be incredible. If the Dolphins get him, that will add a dynamic to my life that will be different.
Well, at least per Tim's view, Watson will no longer be any good if he goes to the Dolphins.
Not true. Not true. I'm terrified of it. The Dolphins are head and shoulders above Buffalo in the AFC East if they get Watson.
I don't know
They
if
went
they're
10-6 this year with
I don't know
no
if they're head and
quarterback play.
shoulders
if
above
they
them.
had
went
half, if
10-6
they
without
had
quarterback play.
if they
They go
had,
13-3 with it.
yeah. To think of all like the amount of quarterbacks in the league, Miami probably makes the playoffs with last year.
I mean, they should have made the playoffs anyway with their record.
Yes, that's what I mean. And they had no help at quarterback. You add Deshaun Watson, that team goes from 10-6 to 13-3.
They're amazing. Their
better.
program is amazing, but the sustainability, like what that defense and special teams did, was unconscious. Like,
True, but
props
but,
to them,
but
man.
part
Props to
of
them.
both Fitzpatrick and the way that he was playing early on, and then too into the latter part of the season, was they asked them to do certain things because they felt like their defense was awesome.
Awesome.
Like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
don't need to be doing these things, and maybe it kind of harkens back to some of the stuff that I talked about with Lamar in part 1, where maybe I'm not giving him enough credit. It's just almost like when Tua fell behind in those games, like, oh, game's over. That's going to be it.
Because all Tua can do is hand the ball off. Tua doesn't
But-
know how to throw the ball forward.
But I mean, Lamar's way better than Tua, but those are the same sort of arguments you make him. It's just at the next level when you get into the playoffs and you start falling behind by 10 points in a game. Are you then screwed? And that it kind of feels that way with both those guys. Like you really need to make improvements. And for record, Tim has Lamar Jackson at number 2 on this
Yeah,
list.
I don't want to be the Dolphins trailing the Chiefs or Bills by 2 scores in the big game.
No, but if I had
Or
Watson,
even
if I
yeah.
had Watson, that's why I don't understand
Or-
like the Lamar over Watson type deal, or even over Russell Wilson in this. Like we know those guys can come back and win games.
Yeah. And even like I said, like I hope I'm part of this, but like I said, look, between Mahomes and Allen and the cluster expletive of Lawrence, Herbert, Burrow in this conference, there ain't no
Anyway,
butter.
that's why
There ain't no
Miami-
butter knives, man. There ain't no butter knives.
Miami should pay whatever cost the Texans want, pretty much.
Agreed.
There's no price too high.
My question about Miami is, let's say Watson's not traded. They make the offers. They do try to trade Watson or for him. What is their plan for, because by all accounts seems like Fitz is gone. No, but what kind of backup do they get? A backup that says, whoa, like
No,
they're
I think
like
I think
Alex Smith maybe now that he was cut today. Like what sort of backup would you think they need now to bring in based on what happened last year?
Is Mariota still going to be with Vegas?
But if
No, I
he's
think
traded,
someone's
he's
gonna buy
going
him.
to like the Patriots or somewhere where he gets to start.
No. The interest
Oh,
in
he's
him
traded,
The
right?
interest in him dried up very quickly.
Mariota would be a nice backup for the Dolphins, 100%.
But Mariota was a good backup for the Raiders. Like that was a fine spot.
But he's like a really, he signed like a 2-year, like $14 million
Was it
deal.
a 2-year? I thought
Yeah.
it was like a 1-year
No,
plus something.
It's
So
2,
he would
they
have to
still
be
own
gone.
him. And there have been trade
if I were
rumors.
Miami, I would sign Cam Newton as my backup. He's
I
not
don't
going to
think-
start anywhere else.
I don't think that's
That's
that
for
bad.
sure.
I mean,
He's available. You get him at a good price.
I think that Cam makes the most sense in Pittsburgh, but that's me.
I think
Maybe.
I think that makes sense in both places.
But
I-
Ben's coming back. So
Yeah, but that's fine and everything. But if Ben is like decrepit like he was for like the final 4 games of the season, I mean, maybe Cam Newton's decrepit like he looked in the second half of last season too. But I would more than be willing to say, hey, Cam, you're in as our backup. If you look like old Cam Newton, you can be the starter and lead this team. That's fine. Like,
yeah, I mean, beating Tua out for the job is no great challenge. Can you throw the ball forwards? You win.
do you think that there's a possibility that Tua gets so reverse cursed that all of a sudden he's Tua that everyone thought he was a year off an injury? Are you scared of that?
Yeah, sure.
That all of a sudden he's good?
There were a lot of passes. There were over 200 attempts. So
Yeah.
the data
remember,
boys
No
tell
matter
me.
no matter how much I don't like him, Geoff likes him even less.
No, I actually disagree. I
Yeah, I
think
know
you
you do,
like
but you
him
know
way
I'm right.
less.
Yeah, but you want to say that the data will show you that he's been very bad. I mean, just watching him, he looked pretty bad. But you also, at the same time, don't always believe in the numbers when they don't suit your needs, too.
Are you talking to me or Tim?
Both of you.
Okay, sure. I will say my biggest concern about Tua was the stats on passes that traveled 15 yards in the air. It was either non-existent or numbers that are like Gradkowski-esque on a...
Oh, but you see, Geoff, he came off a hip injury, and so we have to write the entire season off as if it didn't happen.
I don't think that anyone has said that besides Tim. Is that,
you
who
don't spend the time on
Geoff?
Dolphins Reddit that I have.
No, I will say...
So Tim is, you're going on Dolphins Reddit and you don't think that he lives rent-free in your head.
Hold on, though. I do want to say in defense of Tua, in this like old world, and by old world, I mean like 7 years ago, his
Wouldn't
rookie
play.
season was like fine. Right?
Yeah,
like a
but that-
decade ago, like totally fine. But now, sort of like in golf, like kids are just...
Yeah, you are expected to
Kids
be great.
are ready to slay. Like in golf, how we talk about all the time. They come out of like the tunnel like they're ready to play a football game. It's incredible. But under the old
what are
guard...
Tua's MVP numbers for next year?
But under the old system of like how we thought of
Whatever the
quarterbacks...
other number is.
Pat, under the old system, we wouldn't even like evaluate Tua without 16 games. We wouldn't even like...
I agree.
Like,
I
but
agree.
now the world has changed.
How about this? Just a comp I
and
want
I'm
to make.
defending him in that regard.
But here's a comp.
But
But here's a comp that I want to make. And this is why I ask about the MVP odds.
Lamar?
Yeah. Lamar wasn't good year one.
He worked his ass off, made insane strides.
And all I've
impressed
seen
everybody.
on Twitter is Tua working. He's
Yeah.
not playing golf. He's out there working.
He's working on...
But like
A
Lamar,
lot of torque on a golf swing. That's
but
right.
like people bet Lamar be like, oh, he has this weird combo of skills. And I'm not saying that Tua has that sort
Unless
of skill
it was
set.
Kyler getting that steam.
It
right?
was, but like you think about just the difference between year one and year two, because the Ravens went into the first year, the rookie year, with Joe Flacco as their quarterback, and
Correct.
And midseason, midstream, they handed the reins over to Lamar, and they did what they thought that he was up to the snuff of doing based on the team that they had. They had a very good defense. They were very good at running the ball. Here's what you can do in this offense, Lamar, that will help us win games. And that's what he did.
Yes.
And they made the playoffs. And then he looked horrendous in the playoffs. Year
Well, he got unlucky.
year two, they go in and they design an offense around him to maximize his skills. And all of a sudden, he looks amazing. And then the league catches up with a little bit, and he looks less amazing in his third year. So we'll see how that goes going forward. With Tua, at least, like none of the offense was designed around him. And as much as I like Flores, I think Jim Harbaugh is a far more experienced coach when it comes to adapting on the
Offense.
fly. Just offense, yeah, especially on the offensive side of the ball. And you have fucking Chan Gailey on the other side, who's a complete atrocity. That maybe in an offseason, I don't think it's the craziest thing that if you bring in a coach that can work with his skill sets and design an offense that meshes with his skill sets, then all of a sudden that he could look better. I'm not saying that he is going to look better, but I don't think it would be out of the realm of possibility based on different examples, even recently.
I agree.
that
Let me
we've
make
seen.
but let me make the
I
counter to
agree
that.
with all that.
Hold
I
on.
agree with all that.
Here's the counter to it. And I agree with a lot of what you said. Here's the counter. Even Lamar is a rookie. Even Josh Allen is a rookie. When it didn't go well, we saw
Flash.
a high level of ceiling
glimpses.
plays. Even in the losses, there were plays on tape that looked really special. And maybe we can get more of them. Call me rude. I don't even want to answer this my own question. Like, Tua got like how many like ceiling plays? Like there were games where we didn't get any. You could lose 30-0. Show me some ceiling plays. I didn't see them.
It's funny. His best throws came in that Kansas City game when they were like that was like the worst game that they had with him as a starter.
And they were
by
down
and large.
big.
Yeah.
And they came back.
But-
Good for you.
but
there were
I
nice
will say,
plays.
though,
Gesicki
it's bad
balled.
that-
Gesicki balled. He has no receivers.
The few times that he looked really good, and what was the biggest thing about him coming out of college was how high the accuracy was going to be. I would say that actually did translate pretty well. He was a very accurate passer. He just didn't make any passes over like 5 yards.
Yeah, I guess.
No, I agree, but I will say that we've done now 2 shows of the top 10 QBs that we'd all have. None of us had Tua, and we couldn't stop ourselves from talking about him for
But to your MVP point,
30 minutes combined. We couldn't help ourselves.
to Pat's MVP point, it's about expectations.
So if he comes out and he's
comes out
good
and looks at like a shadow of the guy who thought, like he gets triple points for for being that player.
Yeah, basically, if he has 75% of the year Josh Allen just had, he's the MVP.
Yeah. We can't wait.
And then Tim will be like, he's the best quarterback in football. He won MVP.
So my only counter to your point is, sadly, as a rookie, there wasn't enough like ceiling plays, even in the bad games, the bad losses.
Look, man, we saw more ceiling plays from Jalen Hurts in 2 games than we saw.
Tyler Henneke came in there for the Redskins, like the 5th stringer from day one.
Footballs, Jeff. You're going to have to pay the racism jar.
They better get a good name this summer.
I like the footballs. I actually like the footballs.
They already announced they're rolling in 2021 as the Washington football team.
Because they're
And in
not.
2020,
Because
2022, they will have a new name.
I bet you they've already hired 3 firms and they've all given them shitty results and they're not ready to pull the trigger.
I
on
just
anything.
look forward to going into another year of football where I see WFT written in all caps on my Twitter timeline and be like, what the fuck? And be like, oh no, they're just talking about the footballs again. So number 5 on my list, Josh Allen. Number 5 on your list, Jeff.
was Russell Wilson.
Number 5 on your list, Tim.
Was Herbert.
Okay, we've already discussed Herbert in part 1.
Thank you for the highest Herbert rank.
If we have to talk about Justin Herbert even for like 2 seconds right now, it's going to turn to 30
Acne's
minutes.
clearing up.
So let's go to number 4. Yes, Paul.
I just wanted to quickly talk about Herbert. Is Jeff concerned about his stockpile of Herbert rookies, considering Tim had him ranked the highest?
Well, I thought it was
Like,
be
are you
because
gonna liquidate maybe a little here?
I've made a grail.
He's got cardboard cards, and those aren't worth anything these days.
If you got
There's
time,
no
I got
NBA.
a rant on
There's
that.
no NFL top
I-
shots.
But I'm pretty tired.
Yeah, we've been doing like
Because there's a
4
lot I actually do want to say on that.
We'll save that one for another one of these fun shows.
Yeah, but I feel like things will happen and I could look smart.
We'll film it after. You can have a 2-minute Twitter clip, and we'll put that out.
Okay,
Do you have 30 seconds on it, or do you got like 5 minutes to 20 minutes on it? Because if it's 2 minutes, you can do it right now. If it's more than that, we can't do it right now.
I can do it in 2 minutes.
In 20 seconds, because that's the length.
How about you start a clock, and when it hits there, it's done, and we move on.
All right.
Can I see the clock?
No,
as it's going?
No. You've been doing shows by
Okay.
yourself now, up on ftndaily.com, by the way. Wednesdays and Fridays, the Geoff Fienberg Show, free to watch for everyone out there. You should do that. You should now have this internal sense of clock in your head. Because I developed that over the course of years. I will give you a go.
I get 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
2 minutes and 30 seconds, and I will count you down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Showtime.
Okay, obviously Top Shot's like this craze and it's super cool and I'm incredibly bullish on the superstars and rookies and even prospecting. I can understand their value, and as someone that did this card thing since August, it's exhausting. The grading, the shipping, the human error in the grading. Like I could send my cards to get graded and the guy grading them got in a fight with his girlfriend at lunch and now he's got to look at my Herberts and determine if it's like an 8, 9, or 10. Fuck that. That's bullshit. I will say though, this middle ground tier in Top Shots, that can't last. That cannot last. That is impossible. Superstars, prospects, rookies, total sense. How the fuck can an Anderson Varejao common to 250 Top Shot be worth $1,000? His National Treasures rookie, a 1 of 5. The highest end rookie card out there is like 80. So the cardboard collectors, the hardened collectors have determined Varejao's fanciest rookie to a 5 is worth $80, but the Top Shot folks like his hair and NFT crowd decides he's 1,000. That market is dying. You just have cardboard because your Herbert collection. I got no cardboard collection. I got a bunch of Herberts. I'm not invested in cardboard like actual card collectors. I don't give a shit. And of course, if the NFL did Chop Shot, I would want a Herbert. But what I wouldn't want is a Mike Williams. And there's too many people buying like Mike Williams NFL equivalent Top Shots. That makes no sense to me. No sense. Those are going to, I think, crash so hard once this thing gets like more common. There's no way the middle tier can hold that value. Collecting in the space, even limited run cards, like of medium players that'll never sniff a fourth team all-star are selling for real money? You gotta be crazy. You sell all your middle players that are overpriced, sell them all and try to buy one good rookie.
You did that in less than 2 minutes. That's very impressive. What's an NFT? A
Non-fungible token?
I think that was a mic drop.
That was good.
Absolute mic
That
drop.
was good.
I mean,
Well
he sold
done.
me. He sold me.
So you're going to sell all your middle tier Top Shots, Tim?
Yeah, I'm not going to buy any Terry McLaurin football ones either.
See, I would invest in a Terry McLaurin.
I think UFC's super cool too. The concept of it in UFC and like owning the sickest knockouts like that, I think there's going to be a fun market there.
Yeah,
all my Fred
it'll-
Van Vliet Top Shots, I'll just sell.
It'll be like great Tiger shots and great major championship winning putts or something like that. If there's a PGA version, I understand that.
You could own
I
a-
don't understand it because it means nothing to me.
You could literally own a game worn like jersey. Like the guy wore in the game of these fringe players cheaper than you could own their Top Shot.
Well, here's the problem that
Even
I
like-
don't have a problem with it because people are making tons of money on it. Good for them.
no,
the problem that I don't like about it is that people talk about it like this is the sickest investment you're going to make. And it's a great investment for people with a lot of money who can afford to lose it. If the problem that I've had with all of this stuff, and it started with the GameStop stuff, and even people like, I mean, if you've bought into like Bitcoin, you've been doing fucking great. But people feel this like FOMO that if I don't get rich overnight, now I've missed out on it. That's how it feels, and that's not a good space.
Did you see this Rovell poll about Top Shots?
How are you seeing it? You're blocked.
Because people take pictures and they send it to me. It was like, what do you think of Top Shots? It's like 80% called it like free money. That's like the exact sign on where this thing's gonna go.
We
I
only know one person who speaks in free money, Tim.
No, but he didn't call it free money. It was like the poll. It was one of the options. Now, to your point, the people that can afford and that group buy those like really high-end ones, they're gonna be just fine. Those high-end ones, those LaMelo balls, everything, your LeBron's prospecting, these people, those guys are fine. They're going to be just fine. The super high-end guys that we know playing in the big end of it, the big deep, like the big end, they're going to make a killing on this.
The issue becomes, and I actually think that, although I don't know if Top Shot is intentionally doing it or not intentionally doing it, but the fact that like you can't take money out and then like the site crashes half the time and you can't get cards, that's all just making everything go up.
And if I had to, like Pat, when I can't get my money out of a book, I'm just making other bets. So if I can't make my money out of Top Shots, I'm just trading sideways. Like I'm buying these, this $1,000 one, I'll trade it for that one. Like I feel like there's a lot of sideways action there for these fringe element players that would never sniff fourth team all-stars that people wouldn't even be like looking at if they could just take their money out.
Yeah, I agree. But I don't have any money invested in this. But
Buying a pack, go, let's have a lottery because there is like you can buy a
fuck,
pack,
buy a $9
instantly-
pack and flip it for $1,000.
Yeah.
Go do it.
Yeah, buy a pack, hit a card, hit a thing, sell it. Amazing. I'm all about trying to get in the queue and get a pack, but I don't understand
how it retains its value long term
for the fringe guys that are never going to be not even a third team all-star, not even like an argument to make them a third team all-star. That's where I have no clue.
But I think maybe that's what makes basketball better for this than football.
Because the play, like you can have a sick, cool assist.
You can have a cool play, and almost anyone can have a great highlight or play in the NBA, regardless of how good or bad you are. You'll get your one or two shots in football. Well, that's just, and maybe that makes the football ones. I mean, football you would think would be more valuable to begin with because football was exceptionally more popular, although not on a global level. At least within North America, it's more popular than basketball is. But you'll only have so many quarterbacks, so many running backs. Like, are you gonna? Like if, I don't know, Tim gets his Becton pancake Top Shot, I mean, how many ones are offensive linemen going to have? You know what I mean? And there's so many offensive linemen.
Yeah, you're right.
Listen, I understand there's a scarcity to them, but I'm literally talking about how, like you could, just as an example, you could get like an autographed DeAndre Hopkins to like 25, like Prism card. it's a nice card, but it's just worth a couple bucks. Like now, he's not a rookie. Like he's a great player. He's a superstar in the NFL. That like in a Top Shot version would be like 3,000. So I'm like really confused about that. And DeAndre Hopkins is exponentially like a higher tier player than the players that I am actually railing on that people are paying for in the NBA space.
The other part of this too that I think is I have no idea how this is going to affect anything, whether it's going to be negatively or positively. But once the pandemic is actually over, and everyone is back to their day-to-day lives, and I don't know if that's going to be 6 months.
Can I just be sitting at home to get in these queues? Because you just got to be home to be in the queue.
People will have other shit to do rather than this. And then the demand isn't there anymore, and then you're going to lose all your money. Not all your money,
this
obviously.
is what I was wondering, whether this demand is just coming from lots of people who are just routinely very online, or whether it's because people have extra time on their hands right now to be online.
I think it's part and parcel with the people that are super into this. At least, I mean, anyone who is into it to the point where they're into it previous to us talking, probably even for the next few weeks, is going to cash out at a profit. That's going to happen. It's everyone who comes in after the fact now that I think that the people who are directly online all the time saw this as a new up-and-coming thing, gleaned onto it, and they're going to make their profits out of it because they thought it was a good idea, and it was a good idea, and it is a good idea. It's just everyone that comes after that, once it gets past the point, because now the people that are jumping into it are the people that aren't online all the time. They're just currently at home all the time right now and want to see what all the fuss is about.
And I'm telling you, you can't swim with those guys that are like
the sharp people
selling it.
That's why I don't do it, because I'm not sharp.
And yeah, and they're in it, and they're onto something, and good for them. And I don't know whether they've got insider access, because there's a lot of talk about that, and whether they do or don't, I don't really care. But if you're gonna try to like dance with them, you're gonna get hurt. Well, you're gonna get hurt.
Part of it too is if you have someone who's, let's say, I don't know, other people in this space, let's just call it me, for example. It's not me, because I don't have that kind of money, and I don't have that kind of like want to go do this stuff. But let's say it's me. You know, I've sold a company or two. I'm sitting around. I got like $200,000 that I can basically just flush down the toilet.
And then a guy that's also really smart.
And I'm gonna do it by either I'm gonna say I have this $200,000. I don't care if I lose it, so I can take shots on all this stuff that could be worth 20 times my money a week from now. You don't have the opportunity. Like me personally, I don't have the opportunity to do that. And trying to sell it like free money, quote unquote, I just feel like that's a bit dangerous. Like
this is like playing,
but no one is selling it that way.
Somebody has a big enough bankroll that they'll call with middle pair because they don't care because they have so much.
Yeah,
money.
You're trying to bluff the rich guy who has endless pockets.
Exactly, and they'll just call you with middle pair down to the river because they don't care about that money. They're here for the action. If they win, great, but they don't care. For you, maybe you can't really afford to get all in with get all in good. With your money, because it's so much more devastating to you if you lose.
I mean, I can directly relate to that as a broke college student playing poker to try to make money.
There you go.
And the best time to go would be Saturday night at 11 p.m. because all the drunk people would stumble in, start playing poker, and you need to sit there sober as a bone, play tight, and just try to pick your spots and get that money, because the money meant a lot to me. And it would be like $200, $300.
They're just wasted.
And they're just, whatever. And you would get caught from time to time. But that was actually a very profitable time to play. But the money meant something to me. And to the drunk guy, it doesn't.
Because you say that, and I know my exact buddies that would go to the poker dungeons after the bars.
Yeah, and just fucking chuck away $500, whatever. Because they could.
And sometimes he'd come home with a stack and be like, better lucky than good, I guess, friendo.
But having like these digital assets and investing in a whole bunch of them, especially not necessarily the very highest end, but at least ones you can identify that are going to be, you would think that just logically they would have relative value, where a LeBron would have value, where, like you said, a Verajao probably won't long term. That if you have the bankroll to get in early and acquire those pieces, like you said, those guys are going to be fine and make a ton of fucking money.
Yeah. I just want to be clear. Free money is nothing like being said by those guys or Rovell.
No,
it was just a poll. There's a public perception as to what this thing is right now.
And the way that people talk about it, they are not telling you like, hey, this is free money, you have to be doing this. But it seems to be what people are taking away from it is this is free money.
Yes, that is a narrative now, like on the internet, and people. Now, granted, winning a pack, winning a queue feels like free money, though. If you
People thought in 1929 the market could never fail them, And in 2008, they thought the market could never fail them. Like it will just keep always going up.
I do
You're
want to
a
say
sucker, not all invested.
I don't like the comps to Beanie Babies, Pat, because the marketplace that exists now to be online, like to sell those, I wasn't into that. That was before me. But like
that wasn't cool.
no, but you had to go to like a flea market or a convention. Like its ability to live in how the communities are constructed online in the marketplaces make it that much more plausible that these things can survive.
Well, it makes them easily tradable
Yes.
as well.
I'm saying, like, how do
But I mean, Beanie Babies are still worth a ton of fucking money.
I got
aren't they?
no clue.
Like,
I'm just saying, people have been using that as like a comp. Like, oh, it's gonna.
Yeah, but I think the comp that they're using is that there was a point when every Beanie Baby was worth tons of money,
Oh yeah,
Correct.
okay,
and then
Correct.
only the
Yeah.
very elite ones are still worth a lot of money today.
Correct.
And the other ones are fucking worthless.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
it's all gonna,
collected a bunch of $500.
It's gonna just be there's a
investment.
but it all comes down to like the production too. I mean, baseball cards used to be worth a ton of money until mass production came along. Then they were all the cards that we own, as we talked about growing up, aren't worth shit. Doesn't matter which one you have, because they're all
That's
just,
right.
everyone had them.
I just don't
I
see
have
how
a binder
this
of the 1988-1989 NHL season playing cards.
Pro set,
somewhere in my
right?
loft.
I have
set?
the 1989, 1990, and 1991 complete set of OPG premieres for the NHL. They're fucking.
These are what
worthless.
I have is OPG.
You
That's
got
what
that
they are. So
Mogilny rookie, buddy,
do.
the beret in there. Yeah.
I have the
No,
rookie card of the guy.
the beret is actually a Red Army rookie.
Yes, yeah. There's
I
a
have
few
the
of those
rookie
Red Army
card
cards.
of the guy
yeah.
who won the Calder for the Flames that year, who was like 37.
Sergio Mamesso or something,
Something
right?
like that, because he came,
Yeah.
he defected from the USSR and won the Calder at like 38 or something.
All right, well, we got our 12 minutes in on that stuff. So the rest of our list, where are we at here? Number 4 on your list, Tim, was who?
Number 4 was Wilson.
All right, so Russell Wilson. Who was number 4 on your list?
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen, who we've already discussed. So we get to number 4 on my list, and he's higher on your list. I'm surprised about that. I thought I would be the highest on Aaron Rodgers.
No, him and Watson have swapped on my list. Aaron Rodgers third on my list.
Do you have Watson at 4?
No, I have Watson at 2.
Okay, yeah. So I was surprised that I have him at number 4, so you have him higher than me.
Yeah, listen, sort of in the same way we speak of Stafford. Aaron Rodgers is a brilliant quarterback, and what he sees pre-snap, I got zero concerns if he's going to lose a bit of athleticism in 3 years from now.
The arm strength is still there, and that's all that.
Like, I think
as long as his
he's-
mind is sharp and he still has the arm, he's fine.
I almost had him ahead of Watson at 2, but I'm like, no, because just like an arrow thing. Like, I got to just...
Yeah, over the next 4 years,
Yeah.
you would still expect Watson to get better.
Well, there's probably a lot, but...
I wouldn't expect like a decline from Rodgers.
No,
but
no.
It would probably be like he's the
Yeah.
same as he is now, where I think that Watson can pass him.
And I'm excited for him, and I'm curious to see what path he takes in this player empowerment and how he gets to get exactly what he wants and where he wants in the maybe.
Well, he
a
made
year
noise
from
about
now.
it.
Well,
Yeah.
how much is left on his deal? Like how many
I'll look at it
years?
right now.
3
Got it
years?
I'm not sure. And yeah, he made noise about it, Tim. And I thought that was genius. He deserved to be able to spend a bit of time uncomfortable this offseason. Because the organization made him uncomfortable last offseason.
Yeah, but that was actually just a savvy move by the GM to inspire him, is how it's been retroactively said.
So there's 3 years left on his.
So I thought that he definitely was not in the wrong at all to just say, no, I'm totally just, I don't know what the future holds. Like, make the fan base really kind of make that organization feel pressure that don't you dare disrespect our guy. Good, but they already have.
So what happens to Jordan Love now? You did he's a first round draft. Like where, if you threw him back in, like you had the question of like where would Tua be
yeah,
drafted?
great
Where
question.
would Love be drafted amongst all these guys?
Would Love be ahead of Tua?
Like, should you be trying to trade? Yeah, you probably would be. And that's nothing that Jordan Love has
Should
done
they
or
try to
hasn't
trade
done.
Jordan Love and just say, Aaron, that was like a weird mistake for us. We're now like just going to turn that back into you.
Because
Not
strangely,
necessarily.
if he actually wanted out, Rodgers in Miami would be the move.
Woo!
I mean, the Packers gave up on Favre the year after he went to the year he went to the NFC title game and
You know-
lost at home, much like Favre, like Rodgers did. I don't have him on my list because he's 37, and we have seen multiple times where QB at an advanced age has a fantastic season, and that's it. Goodbye. Falls
Wait,
off a cliff.
Aaron Rodgers
Never
isn't on your
really
list?
comes-
No, Aaron Rodgers is unranked for him.
The reason he's not on my list for the next 4 years is because I don't think
Oh
he'll
my
be in the
God.
league in years 3 and 4.
Wait, he's gonna run off with his hippie wife?
He's 37. Like
how-
it's very.
Look at
He's
these guys.
taken a lot of hits. I'm sorry. He's 38. Sorry, he's 38. So there's basically a 0% chance he's there in year 3 and 4. He'll be there for 2 of those 4 years max. He's not playing after 40, almost certainly.
I wish I could buy
And, like,
stock in Aaron Rodgers.
Just had as good a year as he can have. And we have seen historically in the league that when a player of equivalent or similar age has a fantastic year, things fall off the edge like that. I think
Phillip
that's
Rivers had an
likelier
amazing
than
year
not.
3 years ago. You said he was going to win the MVP the next year, and then he threw like 24 interceptions and never took another snap. And I'm
So,
not
in
comparing
that
Rivers.
sense, I was
I'm
right.
not comparing Rivers to Rodgers in any way. Don't turn it into that. But I'm just wondering, where did
A
you?
lot of QBs have great years. I'm thinking whether it be Gannon or Manning or Warner
He's
or
not
Carson
there yet.
Palmer. Well, he's actually as old
Yeah,
as them.
but
And
he's
in some ways
he's
older.
very clearly not there the same way physically. Aaron Rodgers is fine physically, and Kurt Warner was. I mean, you say Rich Gannon. Fuck cares about Rich Gannon. You're comparing
he
him
won-
to the same.
he won the
you can
MVP.
compare. Yeah, so did Lamar Jackson. Give me a fucking break. So when we talk about like pedigree, Aaron Rodgers one of
Or Favre.
the
Favre
be-
perhaps a good great.
Sure, and
At his
Favre
best years, he was never in
and
Minnesota.
Favre was still good. The only reason that the Packers gave up on Favre is A, he was a headache, and B, they were smart enough, talent evaluation wise, to be like, oh fuck, this Aaron Rodgers guy is fucking awesome, and we're gonna have him for the next 12 years. It doesn't. I don't know whether they feel that way about Jordan Love or not, but it would be hard to think that they made the right call. In that, even though Favre was still good after he left,
no, they did.
They
make
made
call.
the
I
right,
agree.
and even with the Jets, Favre was good.
Yeah, if he hadn't got hurt, that Jets team was on the way to winning the division because Brady got hurt in week 1.
Well, I do
And-
like that you've now backtracked a little. That usually
Well,
when
that-
usually when you make that claim, it's that the Jets were definitely going to win the Super Bowl.
I think they were at one point. They were and Sport SI had a cover. It was like Jets Giants Super Bowl's happening this year, and then things just.
So I had it on the cover.
They had it on the cover. It was fact.
Oh, jeez.
In 2008, SI was like my number one tool of sports analysis.
And now,
Which is who I-
12 years later, do you know who the number one tool in sports is? Tim Andercust.
well, there you go. Then all things sort of turn full circle, don't they? Anyway, I don't have him on the list because I don't trust he's going to be there much longer. He's 38. We look at the numbers. It's likelier than not he isn't there past 40 or at 40. And so, I mean, listen, you guys make a fine case. He just won the MVP. Marvelous player. But history suggests that we probably just saw as good as we're going to get, and we're probably going to get a lot worse like next season or the year after. Like, I don't know. The NFC North is kind of weak. So I wouldn't say I'm going to start selling on the Packers necessarily, but their best chance to succeed was this year, and they gave it away. So
I don't
That's
really
how I
see.
feel.
I can see maybe 4 years from now he's not the player that he's going to be next year, but he
42.
doesn't. Who cares?
that actually does matter because
Why does it matter? This is the same. This is the same case that you made against Brady every single year. For one thing, how old's Drew Brees?
Breeze is. Let's see what he
41.
He's turned 42, but he's retiring now.
So
And
yeah, he was 41.
Terrible.
Yeah, a guy who broke 8 ribs last year and has had myriad injuries throughout the course of his career. Never had the arm strength of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, because Packers
doesn't have shut up. Doesn't have the injury history. You're not right.
Yes,
I would say
Rodgers has missed how many games based on concussions?
so. Yeah,
Tons.
A concussion can keep him out, but in terms of physical play, Drew Brees has had arm problems for fucking 12 years. There's a reason. There's a reason he has a noodle arm. You know who doesn't? Aaron Rodgers. You know who can still be mobile and run? Aaron Rodgers. I would think that there is a better chance that he retires on his own accord because he just says fuck football than anything to do with the decline in his
I think
play.
that's a fair point too. I think that's a fair point. If I were Aaron Rodgers, I wouldn't play anymore.
Well, you're not Aaron Rodgers.
I've made a ton of money. I've won a Super Bowl. I've won an NFL MVP. What's left to play for? I
Why
don't
is
see it.
Brady?
Yeah, why is Brady still
Why did
playing?
Phillip want to play?
Brady's
why, I don't understand.
because Brady's an obsessive. Rodgers doesn't.
They're all.
love
They're all.
football.
Or you
No,
know
he
that.
doesn't.
You know that, dude. He doesn't love football.
Yep. Jeff will back me up on this.
Well, because you guys don't think
Rodgers
that he loves
doesn't love football?
That's what he said.
Not in the way that Brady does. Not in the way Brady does. Not even close.
Brady's like,
Not
you
even the
can't,
same
no one
strategy.
can be.
Do we even know that Brady loves football, or does Brady just like being in control and being the best? It could be, if it wasn't football, it could be something else.
I've never said Rodgers. I've made a lot of claims about Aaron Rodgers on this show and his personality. I've never once said he doesn't love football. You can't do what he does without a love for the game. You can't. You don't get there.
You become a stockbroker at some point.
You just don't. You don't win an MVP if you don't love the game, man. It takes too much. So I've never even come close to making a statement.
Yeah, but you know
about
what
that.
I mean. He's not obsessed.
No.
Yes, Jeopardy.
Yep, that's fine.
That's fine.
Different guys have different
I think
processes.
that's a healthier way to live life.
Dan
by the way.
Marino said it. What did Ace Ventura? What do you mean? Like, who cares?
And I think that's a better way to live life. It's a
Then
more
doing
rounded
Jeopardy?
way.
Why are you telling people what's a better way to live life? I mean,
Well, there is some.
you are someone who will claw through the trash, other people's trash, to peel a fucking sticker off a McDonald's cup for a lottery you want to get into. And you're going to tell people that they're living their lives
Also,
improperly?
Aaron Rodgers hosting 2 weeks worth of Jeopardy is literally a 2-day film.
Yeah.
They film like 5 a day.
Don't ruin it for Tim. He thinks it's live.
So, like, what do you mean? He's busy with Jeopardy.
But Brady would never do that. Is my point.
Because Brady is not that type of person. Peyton Manning was able to host fucking Saturday Night Live and then go win a Super Bowl. It's different cuts for different people. It really is. If Tom Brady wasn't the obsessive type that he was, he wouldn't be the quarterback that he is. That is his personality
Correct,
type.
which is why I don't think
That
Rodgers
is because Rodgers. That's not his process.
Rodgers is a bit of a curmudgeon, and he might not be the quarterback he would be if he wasn't have that curmudgeon element to him.
Anyway,
it's like you think that every single person has to follow one direct path. And
I
that's
don't
how they
know
get
if
there.
this is crazier than your Lamar. Leaving him off the list.
Rodgers
is the
off and
craziest
Lamar
thing.
number 2 is nuts.
But no, this is him off is crazier than Lamar number 2. Aaron Rodgers
team for the next 4 years. I'm not taking him over any of those guys. I'm sorry, I'm just not.
I think
If you
that's
tell
crazy.
me you can have Dak for the next 4 years or Rodgers, I think you're taking crazy pills to take Rodgers over Dak for the next 4 years.
Oh,
sorry.
Both Jeff and I are
That's how
doing
I
that.
feel.
And you're the insane person, so it sounds like people might be on our
like
side.
you'd
Well,
rather
now
Stafford than
we-
Rodgers for the next 4 years.
Yes, I would, or I wouldn't have ranked him that way. And people have now said that Jeff's the crazy one, not me.
Nope.
No, people really backed off that very, very quickly.
Yeah, that turned, buddy. Sorry, bud.
So Aaron Rodgers is my number 4. So there's only one quarterback that we haven't talked about yet, unless Tim is saving someone up.
I'm not.
Sam
Is Darnold number 1 secretly on your list?
Oh, certainly not. No list could have anyone but
What do
Mahomes.
you make? There's a lot of rumblings, Tim, that there is going that maybe it's just to make teams think they don't want to trade the pick to get a better offer, potentially. But there's a lot of talk that the Jets are going to stick with Darnold and just keep building.
I'm prepared for it. I think I made that 4 of my 5 options. 4th. It's not ideal, but I trust Joe Douglas and I trust Robert Saleh to figure this out. And if they think that keeping Darnold, who's still really young and still at a really cheap contract, is the way to go and build this team with a top tier receiving talent, or trading that second pick and restocking because we have a lot of needs at a lot of positions, so be it. It may make a lot of sense. I don't know. I'm open minded to it.
2 things. 1, he starts talking about trusting the players and the coaches and the GM. Sounds a lot like you, by the way. Whenever someone new comes in, just like, oh, you gotta trust them. They're great. Best there ever was. Gotta trust the process. It's very you-ish when he talks about it like that. Number 2, keeping Darnold is stupid for this reason. This is you have to make the decision on him now. So if you keep him now, are you going to be so bad you get another high draft pick with your chance to draft a quarterback next year?
Probably.
So he sucks, is what you're saying. He's
so
part
then
of,
it makes sense to keep Darnold.
So what you're saying is that he is a part of the tank. Like you are saying right now that keeping Sam Darnold and not taking a quarterback right now is a part of the tanking process for the Jets.
He becomes a placeholder. If you think, okay, best case scenario, this is a 6-10 team. Let's keep Darnold in there. Maybe we hit lightning in a bottle. Maybe he plays great, and we have a decision to make in a year's time. But let's play him there. Not use the pick on a QB whose first 2 rookie years may be eaten up with a team that's not competitive. Darnold still is quite young. Give him an opportunity, but keep an eye to the future. I actually think I'm not crazy. The Jets are not going to be good in 2021. This is not a team. I mean, now that I thought about it more, there might not be 4 wins on that schedule. It's going to be a down year. I'm okay with that. I'm
How
fine
much you realize you don't believe that, and we're gonna.
No, I do. I really do. I've learned my lesson. I really have.
You are. There's no way you.
What
you
if
would,
they draft Justin Fields?
Tim? There's not a chance you preseason predict them for less than 6. The first time we have a schedule, 6.
Well, they can't lose to Tua.
6 would be your freaking floor.
Well, no, the floor is now 4, so we'll go up from there for the rest of the shows that we do throughout the course of the offseason. He doesn't even know what their schedule is right now. How many? Because maybe this will be after like 25 years of the scheduler screwing
Maybe
the
they
Jets.
play
Maybe
everyone off a bye, like 6 straight games of teams. Sorry, I don't know.
Anyway, my whole thing with Darnold is it makes no sense for the Jets to keep him because they're going to lose the ability to have him on this cheap contract after this year. Either they extend him and pay him like real money, or they go and get his replacement right now, who they'll have on a cheap deal for the next 5 years.
It makes sense if you're using him as a placeholder and you're not in love.
But what's the placeholder? Like we've seen, Darnold can win. Let's say because there's 17 games next year. Let's say let's say Darnold ends up playing the full. I mean, you talk about how great he is every single year. Let's say they win 7 games next year. Hell, let's say they win 6 games next year on the Jets. How good is their draft pick going to be? Not in the spot number 2 to go get the guy that you want.
That is the gamble. But if you don't love either of those 2 QBs, you don't just go take them because they're there either. Like you have to be certain that this is the QB. If I'm Robert Saleh, I want to tie my future to this quarterback. And if the guy's not there, it's not a good pick to make, right? So that's why I mean, like it's in some ways it's unknowable. And I am willing to allow them to make that decision. If they keep Darnold and they put players around him, I'm going to live with that. I'm okay. I'm in a very good place with the Jets because I know
live with it. You're gonna like cheerleader it.
Here's the stupidest thing the Jets could do: keep Darnold, but don't trade the number 2 pick.
No, that's impossible.
Oh, you think that's impossible for the Jets? Oh,
this is also the Jets
Smith
also
is so good.
They keep Darnold.
Jets
they trade that pick.
Things.
They pocket more picks, and then they're still in a position after the draft, once Watson hasn't been traded, to still be a front runner to get that pick.
Because they'd have all these extra picks or whatever.
Yeah, they still would like maintain a lot of draft capital. Because trading from 2 to 6, like Atlanta or somebody wants to come up and get that second pick, get Fields or I don't know, whoever else, Carolina decides that they're
it's going to cost you 2 first-round picks plus your number 4 pick to hop up, Atlanta. It's your choice.
And then the Jets, I love the player, but I giggle inside, Pat, when I see Mox sending a tight end to the Jets in the top 5.
That would be the ultimate Jets move. Pitts at number 2. Get Darnold some weapons.
But
do you know how excited Tim would be if they did take him at number?
Fact,
are you kidding me? No, you won't. No,
right now.
Tim, don't say something you won't take back.
I don't want Kyle Pitts. I don't want him. And not at 5. If we traded down to like 11 and drafted him, sure.
He's not lasting. He's not lasting there.
He's not lasting.
But 11 would be an ideal. Like it's such a great pick to own. And
what's the second best pick of the draft according to Tim?
Kyle Pitts' talent would be fitting for the career history of 11.
Well, let's recap everything besides number 1 here. So number 5 for me, Josh Allen. Number 4, Aaron Rodgers. Number 3, DeShaun Watson. Number 2, Russell Wilson. Geoff, you're 5-2.
5, Russell Wilson. 4, Josh Allen. 3, Aaron Rodgers. 2, DeShaun Watson.
Tim?
5, Justin Herbert. 4, Russell Wilson. 3, DeShaun Watson. 2, Lamar Jackson.
And that leaves number 1, it's not even really fun to talk about, Patrick Mahomes.
No,
he's fucking
boring.
awesome.
There's nothing to say.
In Tim's in the way that Tim makes lists, there's Patrick Mahomes, Gap, everyone else.
Definitive.
Yeah. There's no one even in the same breath. It's you're just clickbait to put anybody else ahead of him.
And the fun thing about football is that he's not going to win every year. In fact, he's not even going to win half the years.
Nope.
He didn't have two tackles in the Super Bowl, and he looked pedestrian because it's football.
He made the
And
greatest
you can't win it by
incomplete
yourself.
passes I've seen in my
yeah,
life.
exactly.
I couldn't believe it.
My biggest takeaway from that game,
that
my
was
memory,
like that.
are the incomplete passes, his ability to throw those balls.
The one that he threw
Yeah,
submarine style, horizontal to the ground, and it went over both Bucks' heads perfectly. Was it Denard Robinson's? Not Denard Robinson. Demarcus Robinson's hands. Like, and he doesn't even come close.
Do you know how demoralizing as a Charger fans watching incomplete passes I got? Like how demoralized incomplete passes made me? What What a king.
Are they getting back their the Canadian, the
Yeah.
French Canadian next year?
Well,
I'd imagine so. I'd
Well,
imagine.
the way we're handling the rollout of the
He's going to be on vaccine duty for 8 years.
Yeah, well, yeah. Exactly.
All right. That will do. That was fun. See, I feel like
I
if
agree.
we can come up with some more of these sports radio-y topics, we can really kind of hammer through this off-season stuff and give the people some stuff that they want. Because there's a lot of people, like Jeff and I do a golf show every single week. And there's a lot of listeners to our regular football show that just listen to that because they're into golf and they're into football. And that's great. But there's a lot of people that just listen to golf and don't do football with us, and do football and don't do golf with us. I think this is a nice middle.
Can I ask a very random Tim question?
Sure.
Because it's something me and my wife were talking about.
My wife.
Because I said for sure yes. Tim, in your car, do you own like a map?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
I knew it. I knew. Of course he does.
Do you even know how to read a map?
In his trunk, there's a map. Like you would never just use his
I
phone.
inherited the map, but I have it.
Why? I forgot.
Honestly,
I forgot.
what if-
Tim's a secret hoarder.
Honestly, if let's say my phone died and I'm somewhere in the province,
Does your
and I
car
need to
have
figure out
power?
how
Because
to
you can
get where
charge
I'm
your
going.
phone in the car.
I don't have a phone charger. I've never charged a phone in my life in a car. I don't use them for those things. I don't have those things. So if my phone were to die and I'm on the road in a pinch, I can push the button that turns
Why
the light
can't
on
you
in my
charge-
car
Don't have
and
a-
read the map.
You don't have a phone
What is your
charger in your car?
What is the stance that makes you like
I'm
forbid?
either for it or against it. I just don't have one. Don't
Get
have it,
one.
never have
Why don't you just get
Go
one?
on,
It costs
go on the Amazon and
$2.
buy one. It'll make your life so much easier. And
Well, I
like
still leave the
less
house with my
dangerous.
phone
Looking
in my
at
car.
maps are dangerous, man.
Anyway, I do.
But
have a
also,
map,
how are you
and-
gonna? But like, where would you be going enough to get lost that you couldn't just turn around and came like where you came from to be unlost?
I don't know if I went out to our country house, which is quite a ways away in the middle of nowhere.
Sorry, Tim Toomer. You know where you're going though.
Yeah, but there are a lot of side roads or whatever, or highways, and if I made the wrong turn or it's really foggy or something, I'd like to be able, in a pinch, it's never a bad idea. It's never a bad idea to be a little over prepared and a little.
But you're not over prepared because the only preparation you would need is to have a fucking plug for your
If I were
phone.
going
You're
for a
so
long road trip
underprepared by not
If I were
having
going
a.
for a long road trip to Toronto or Montreal, you can be sure I would buy a map of the city.
Why?
And have it in mind.
There is no
Just-
easier drive in the world to get to the major cities, as every sign points you to a major.
Hold
What-
on.
What are you just like?
Let me ask
swerving
you a
off to the
question.
right? I'm
If
taking
you-
my own path.
Hold on, because you really changed, and I should have been smarter than this. You just said if you were going on a super long drive, you'd for sure have a map. If you were going on a super long drive, you still wouldn't put a phone charger in your car.
No, I wouldn't.
That
I
is
don't think so. I mean, I don't think I would. No, I mean, I don't have one. I guess it hadn't occurred to me.
It's the same fucking
it's
plug.
a cord. Literally, I can't even explain it, but it's a universal cord essentially now.
And then they have like attachments for like your car lighter if you have an older vehicle. Like Tim, you should.
Paul has an older. Paul. Can,
I have an older vehicle, so I have. Yeah, it goes into the car lighter.
I have a wireless charger in my car. It just goes boop. Just put it on it. It charges as I
I don't know
drive.
what that means. I don't understand.
How do you,
that stuff.
what,
But anyway,
what part of that sentence is
I don't know how a
confusing?
wireless charger would work. I can't even begin to imagine how.
I would say step
Sounds like
one
Presto Magic.
doesn't have a wire. That's where I would start when I hear
Yeah, so
wireless
I
charger.
don't know how it would work. I don't know how it would work. It doesn't make sense.
Hey,
But
no,
anyway,
okay,
yes, I
hold
have
on.
maps.
Please explain to me. Just let's do a fun experiment here. I tell you the phrase wireless charger. Now you talk me through how, just in your mind, you can imagine that could work.
I don't know. Is it like a platform that you throw your phone on, and then somehow through like the magnetic waves it charges it up? Like I don't know.
That's exactly
don't know.
that is Tim. That is exactly how it works.
That seems very weird to me. And
What
not
is
something
weird
that-
about
My
that?
God.
Do you,
I mean,
go ahead?
I plug my phone in.
Yeah, but
That's how I.
okay. So in our condo, at least, Jeff, I don't know if you guys do this at your house. Like we have wireless chargers everywhere, in all of like the major places where people sit in our place, we have wireless chargers plugged in to go there. So if people just want to put their phone down instead of having it over like, because people like to use their phone and then put it down for a bit if they're checking messages or something like that. It's one thing to step up or have cords running everywhere to put your phone on like the other end of the room. Then you have to get up, squat down. Instead, you can have these wireless chargers. You just put it right next to you. Boom. And while you're sitting there talking or watching TV, doing whatever, your phone is charging at the same time, and boom, it's charged for you.
Jeff is live triggered by J-Ro right now.
He's sending us
He's sending us DMs right now.
Sorry. The carrier pigeons are hitting me up with fresh Justin Rose pictures.
Oh, this picture's pretty cool. He's looking old. Poor guy.
That photo of him eating that flan, I guess it is.
Pretty cool.
Outdoors. That's so awful.
Why?
Like, talk about staged.
It is staged. It's for a
Whoever
promo.
sits like that when they're trying to.
It's for a
Like,
it's for a
completely
promotional photo shoot. I like it.
That's awful.
I gotta say, for the amount of remember those workout videos he was posting,
Yeah,
it's working.
Yeah, no, he does look.
He looks like he's in really
very
good
trim.
shape.
Yeah. No,
Well, if you're gonna
I
do
can-
the shirt promo shoot, you have to have like the you need to have like the certain amount of traps. You need to have a good shoulder to like rest of you ratio if you're gonna be like a spokesperson for shirts, especially golf shirts. I think it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
He's looking good. You wouldn't buy one of these shirts, Tim?
That's a real authentic guy there.
He's selling golf shirts. What do you want from him?
I don't know.
Sounds like you're hating just to hate once again.
I'm not hating. I'm just laughing at Jeff. Jeff sent it to us. I just thought it was funny. 'Cause I know what
I'm
he's
curious
thinking.
to hear what your big takeaways are from this. Why you're so mad about it?
I'm not mad. I just hit me. I just trying to throw it in.
It
late.
just,
We should
it's
probably
just
wrap an
another brick
episode.
in the wall. It's another brick in the wall.
It was just the timing
But
again.
you realize that Adam Scott has these exact same photos. Now, Adam Scott is the handsomest man on the planet. But if Justin Rose wants to get a cut, why not?
Okay,
Because there's equally bad stage photos with Adam Scott for like Uniqlo.
you're right. I want to defend this as this is essentially the genesis of the take, though.
That you don't think he's attractive enough to be
Adam
doing
Scott
this.
is legitimately cool. Justin Rose is trying so hard.
Yes.
That's,
Like
only,
that-
that's only in your opinion. I feel
No,
like that is.
it
I feel like
comes
that is
through the
all-
camera.
I feel like that
It
is
comes
all.
through the camera.
You know why you say that only comes through the camera? Because Adam Scott is an attractive man and Justin Rose is
No.
not. That is
I
a
share
hundred-
Jeff's
that is
opinion.
100.
I share
Adam
Jeff.
Scott's
If Justin Rose
been
was a
cool.
better looking
Adam
man.
Scott's been cool since we met him when he was
Why? Because
22
he's like
years
the most
old.
handsome man on the PGA Tour.
No,
That's
Jeff's
why you
right.
think that.
Jeff's right.
You talk about him being James fucking Bond
he's the man.
coming down because he's handsome.
He's the man.
If he had bad teeth, like he had a fucking.
I don't think
if
Rose
he-
is ugly. My issues with him isn't his looks.
No, but you're probably.
he's a try-hard.
But you're thinking
Yes,
that
exactly.
Adam Scott is not trying hard because he's not. Because
Effortless cool.
Because he's
Effortless
handsome.
cool.
If listen, if you,
Effortless
it's the same
cool.
difference between like me doing these shoots and you doing these.
Hatton,
shoots.
you know, like guy like Eddie Pepperell's cool. He's not handsome.
Yeah,
or
but he's
even
also
good
he's
at
also
golf.
not trying to sell you.
Sorry.
If Eddie Pepperell tried to sell you a shirt with a like, hey, here's the marketing team, we have to do.
He'd
their
laugh
photo
at
shoot.
himself.
He wouldn't do it because no one would fucking ask him.
Yes, but he wouldn't be in the woods caressing a tree.
That's what they're asking him to do. He has turned his team over to a marketing firm. And the photos are no different than Adam Scott photos, except Adam Scott just happens to be
Adam Scott,
very handsome.
Adam Scott, I guarantee you, might have been the coolest, one of the coolest kids in school.
But you don't know anything about Adam Scott
or
besides the
anyone
fact that
that
he's
went
attractive.
to school with him. I don't know anything. I don't know anything.
The only talking point you have with him is that he's hot.
No, he exudes, man. There's an
Okay,
aura.
so tell me more about it. Besides that, he's very attractive.
The way he carries himself, man.
Except on the putting green.
There's the
Then all
yeah,
the coolness
except
goes
when
away.
except when he's over the putt. No, my issue with Rose, I've been incredibly consistent. I've known him too long, and he did a late character switch that I'm not believing.
But maybe you never actually knew him. What did you know about
No,
him?
Jeff. I'm on Jeff's team.
There's a lot of
100%.
opportunities to show what you're about.
Sure, and then he
on
gets
that
on
tour.
social media and shows you who he is, which is probably a true
You can't go
representation.
from we met
Why-
Rose
why-
at like 20. You
Yeah, but
can't-
he wasn't on any of these platforms. What did you actually know about him besides what you saw on a Sunday when he was on
a
TV?
square.
But how do you
Who's
know?
amazing at golf?
Patrick Cantlay seems like the biggest square in the world watching him on TV, and then you check out his Instagram, you're like, oh shit, Patrick Cantlay's got it going on.
Yeah, he does have. Okay, that's a fair counter. There are some like
Some guys on the golf course are not who they are off the golf course.
there's a try hard. There's a try hard.
You just don't like
element to-
Justin Rose. That's all it is.
You are pushing me because I think people people agree with me on this, and you've even acknowledged that like the public supports my
I
angle
agree with
here.
you, but I think it's based on nothing.
Okay, fine. I'm not totally disagreeing with that either. It's all here.
Yes,
and I'm
it's
crazy.
something that you've come
I'm
up with.
crazy. I know. Actually, no. And I'm not crazier, as I've said before. You're just getting to know me better. I've always been this crazy.
Jeff is the insane one on the show.
No, that's you. Yes, Paul.
When Jeff says that people agree with me on this, is this like when Tim says people
No.
agree with them? Or
No.
is this like actually a 50-50
No,
type of thing?
this is I'm on the right side of this.
Well, I will acknowledge, I don't know if you're on the right side of it, but I will acknowledge that versus something like Tim, where Tim is like, hey, people are saying that this, and it's like one person out of 1,000 he's talked to and just assumes everyone thinks that way. Where people are on two sides of the matter of this Justin Rose thing. They either feel like Jeff or they don't care.
Yes, there's literally exactly. It's feel like me or legitimately don't care and are annoyed that it even bothers. Yeah, that I even think about it. 100%. I'll give you that.
All right, I think that was good. 2 parts. If you missed part 1, go check that out as well. Geoff Fienberg, you can follow him on Twitter at GFienberg17, and as always on Twitter, you can follow at Tim Andercust.
Tim Andercust.
Not my name, at Tim Anderson 87. I bring the funny.
Do you, though? Because it just seems like you have really petty complaints about things that you think are funny and just make you look bad.
Well, listen, I am who I am, and you like it or you don't like it, but some people really like it, and I try to fight for you, the people.
Tim Andercust, rich enough to have a country home, not rich enough to have a charger in his car. Is what we have learned.
We
about
gotta
him
get
today.
this guy a charger. Like that's
Yeah, someone sent him a charger.
that's
He can't afford one.
ridiculous.
He spent
No,
it-
please don't send me that. I don't want one.
Why
don't you want? We like. I still can't figure out why you
reason
don't
not to
want
have
one.
one.
House with my phone uncharged. I'm not that.
Then what?
prepared.
Okay, then what would be the issue? Then why would you need the map? If you never leave the house without your phone charged, why would you ever need the map?
What if I broke it? I've fallen and broken my phone on occasions. What if I broke it or lost it or forgot it somewhere?
What if your
Then
car
I
broke
demand-
down? And you're stranded somewhere and you need a fresh phone battery. I guess you could
Then I'm-
charge
then
it
I'm
if
in
the
real
car
trouble.
was broken down.
Yeah, but you'd be charging it the whole time. Like, don't you just plug your phone in
Yeah.
once you get into your car? Like sane people?
It's really weird, Tim.
Well, again, I am who I am.
I knew asking him if he had a map in
like
the car
for
would
less
lead
than
to
for
like
less than $20, you can just have a charger in your car.
$20
I don't know.
seems
Is that cheap or
incredibly even
expensive
high.
for a charger? Like,
I'd say it's
I was gonna say it probably
expensive.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you want to get if you want to go into the Apple store and buy a plug, it might run you $20.
You
Well,
can
that's
literally
where
go
I
into
buy
the
stuff on
dollar
my
store
phone.
and get one.
What's that?
It's cheaper than
I
a
have
year.
Apple phones.
Yeah,
I
but
buy
you-
things at the Apple store.
Yeah, but you realize those aren't the only places that if you
No,
want.
but I know I'm going to get good quality from the Apple store, so I've
can
Apple
just-
stuff. I go to the Apple store.
All right. Tim, not afraid to waste money in spots he doesn't need to. If you have money for a country home, you have money for everything, apparently. Anyway, I'm Pat Mayo. You can follow me at the PME. We're going to try to make these regular occurrences, so support the show, download the shows, even if it's the golf ones, you don't give a shit. Download them anyway, like the show, subscribe to Mayo Media Network, tell some friends. We're trying to build this out as big as possible so we can bring you this sort of content as much as possible, and then I can pay other people to do the serious content. I'm Pat Mayo. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
Mayo experience! Experience!